So, you want to learn a new language, right? But that feeling at the very beginning, it feels impossible. Well, what if I told you the fastest way to move forward is to actually take a step back? In this explainer, we're going to hack language learning with a method that pretty much flips everything you thought you knew on its head. Let's get into it. Oh man, we've all been there. You get the app, you buy the book, you are so fired up, and then, like a week later, you feel like you're wading through wet cement. It's exhausting, it's discouraging, and you feel like you've made absolutely zero progress. So, why is that initial phase just so brutal? The answer is it's actually brutally simple. See, any new thing you learn has to connect to something you already know. And when you're learning your very first words in a totally new language, you're starting from absolute zero. Your brain has no hooks, no framework, nothing to grab onto. You are quite literally trying to build a house on thin air. Okay, so if we need a foundation, we've got to build one. And look, this isn't the fun part. It's not glamorous. But I promise you, it is the single most critical part of the entire process. We need to start by strategically creating our first few mental bricks. I know what you're thinking. Rote learning? Seriously? You mean like mind-numbing flashcards for hours? And yeah, that's kind of part of it, but we need to completely reframe this. This isn't just mindless repetition. Think of it as a targeted strategic mission to forge the essential building blocks you absolutely need to get to the good stuff, the part where you actually understand and communicate. Now, what's really fascinating here is this idea of an effort-time exchange. See, our brains build way stronger, more durable memories when they have to struggle just a little bit. That initial mental sweat, that feeling of forcing yourself to remember a word without peeking, that's the good stuff. You're intentionally investing a bit of difficulty right now to build a rock-solid foundation that won't just crumble on you later. All right, so you've put in the work. You've got your first pile of bricks from that strategic rote learning. Now for the payoff. This is where all that hard work starts to work for you, turning all that static knowledge into a dynamic, lean, mean learning machine. So here's the magic of this whole swap and build method. Those bricks you built, they're not just sitting there like a wall. They're a factory. They become this active framework that lets you pick up new vocabulary and understand new grammar, but separately, without that cognitive overload of trying to do both at the same time. And this shows you exactly how it works. It's brilliant. On one hand, you can take a sentence pattern you've already memorized and just swap in new nouns or verbs. Boom, you're learning vocabulary in context. Then, on the other hand, when a new grammar rule pops up, you can use the words you already know to build sentences with it. This takes a huge mental load off, so you can just focus on that one new rule. It's a beautiful, super efficient two-way system. Now, this efficiency, it's not just about saving a few minutes here and there. No. It's about protecting the single most powerful force in any long-term goal, momentum. Think of momentum like a snowball rolling downhill. It's not about one heroic 8-hour study binge. It's about small, consistent efforts that build on each other, day after day. 1 hour of practice might not feel like much, but over a month, those hours start to compound. That feeling where things are getting easier and easier, that is momentum. And it's not addition, it's multiplication. Let's try to make this real. Imagine your language learning momentum has a score, okay? And right now, you're at a solid 40. You're in a good rhythm, you're making steady progress, things are feeling pretty good. But then, you hit a snag. Maybe you get discouraged, or you use a really inefficient method and waste a week spinning your wheels. Your momentum doesn't just pause, it actually drops. You lose ground. And now, you're all the way back down to 30. And this is the real killer. Before you can even think about making new progress, you have to burn all this precious energy just to climb back up to where you were, back to that level of 40. You're spending all your effort just to get back to zero. And that is why being inefficient at the start is so costly. It kills your momentum before you even have a chance to build it. So what's this all for? What are we really trying to protect with all this strategy? It's time. Every mistake we avoid, every little bit of momentum we save, it's all about guarding our most finite, most valuable resource. Because you can never, ever get lost time back. Okay, so we've covered the big ideas, building that solid foundation and then protecting your momentum. Now, for the most important part, let's combine all this into a practical 3-step playbook that you can start using like today. Here it is, the 3-step momentum method. It's simple. First, you build your bricks. You have to embrace that initial, strategic rote learning to get a solid base. Second, you swap and build. You turn that static base into an active learning engine. And third, you protect your momentum at all costs. You use this hyper-efficient system to dodge those setbacks that waste your most precious asset, your time. So this playbook, this is the start. But the real change happens when you actually put it into action. So after everything we've just talked about, my question for you is pretty simple. It could be 5 words, 1 sentence pattern, a single grammar rule. What is the very first brick you are going to build this week?